Today's reading is familiar to everybody, not necessarily because everybody are Bible scholars, but because it's the lyrics of a song from Jesus Christ Superstar, as a matter of fact. They lifted this very reading for that song, Liars, Pharisees, Hypocrites that you are. I think it's interesting that they picked this reading for the day of the St. Augustine. Yesterday we had St. Monica, his mother. And St. Monica prayed copiously for his conversion. And of course, and proof is, her prayers were answered because Augustine, who was basically a sex addict. They like to call him a hedonist and frame it in nice words, but that's what he was. He had children out of wedlock. That's what he did. He lived a life of satisfaction. Drinking and carousing, that's what he wanted to do. But he had this great miraculous conversion, and what's neat about that is that he becomes one of the greatest saints of all times, Augustine. And he warns us against some of the things we hear in the readings. But those readings, just like Augustine, very much today, we see the same thing. Do we know whitewashed sepulchres? Do we know people that say one thing and do another? Do we know people that subscribe to certain beliefs and certain values and yet do something else? And so many of them are our own public figures. We look at them and look to them for leadership, and we don't find it because just as in Jesus' time, they profess certain values and certain ideals, but in the background, they're doing something else. They're filled with filth and corruption, whether it's sexual issues or whether it's just simply being dishonest, stealing money, doing those kinds of things. So we're reminded today of two things. And I think the more important thing is, first of all, that we all have opportunities to change our lives. Here's Augustine, who was going completely in the wrong direction, and yet when he did turn himself around, becomes one of the most magnificent saints of all times. Certainly one of the ones that still influences the church today. We hear even Bishop Robert Barron quite often quote Augustine. So we have that opportunity, not just to change our lives, not just to change and not do the things we're currently doing, but to also focus ourselves and become. We have the possibility of all becoming saints. Every one of us, as somebody once put, is a saint in the making. Question is, do we follow that lead? Do we continue with that intention, or do we allow the worldly things of the world, power, pleasure, prestige, to distract us? Question is put to us by God every day. We're the ones that have to answer it.